Treasury bonds, okay, that's government money, that's supposed to be very stable. You really don't get much money on treasury bonds. It's really, really not very much. And pensions. Pensions are supposed to be very stable, aren't they? But how stable are they? The New Zealand government now, they've stopped paying into super now for the next 10 years. Things can change on a dime. If you have pensions here, I would be checking out your pension. How secure is it? Go over your paperwork. Check it out. How well is the business doing? How likely are you to continue to be paid? And if you can get your money out, you might consider getting your money out, if you're able to. I have a client who's been paying into, I've seen many clients who've been paying into private pensions. A client now, she's paid in $60,000 over the years. It's worth 19. Okay? Worth 90. So now she's being asked, reinvest it for another 5 years. It'll be worth more then. I'm telling her no, it might be worth 9. Yeah? Might be worth even less. So if you can get the money out of your pension, sometimes that's worth doing. If you've got money to invest and you don't know what to do with it, you want to invest it, you want to see it make something, then look into a business or businesses that have got growth potential, particularly during a downturn, like now. For example, anything connected with recycling, reusing, energy, security, the baby business, the land, food. There are certain areas that are going to see growth, even in a depression. I'm often asked about stocks and shares. What about the stock market then? Too volatile. Even the good people now that I see in the States, even the good boys. Yes, there's a few that are making money, but even the good ones are losing right now. It's very difficult. Very difficult. I bought some shares in a company called Sharper Image, just before things went down, before it went mad in the US. And it was a very reputed company. They had big stores all over the United States and they were very successful. And I bought them at $4 a share. And within a couple of weeks, they were worth 3 cents. And they went off the boards. They went off the boards. They're now trading on the over-the-trade OTCC counter, which is over-the-trade. So they're just worth nothing. They're worthless. And that's the issue with stocks and shares. You never know when they're going to go off the boards. And you've lost everything then. So I would say it's too risky at the moment. Just too risky. Another option is you could put your money in a different country. There are other countries.
Nigeria.
Yes, really. There are other countries. Denmark is quite a strong economy. Possibly China. And there are other currencies. If you have extra money and you are a little more of a risk taker, if you are, then other currencies. You can make money on various currencies. Finally, and certainly last but not least, because this is something your financial advisor does not make any money on. So I notice that people don't necessarily recommend this. And this is one of the first things I recommend in the environment that we live in now, which is to buy some gold. Physical gold. It's tangible. In 1933, the banks closed for 4 days in the United States. Everything shut. Finished. Gold, owning some gold can be the difference between being able to pay your rent or pay your expenses for a month. Buy food and pay for things. So gold is certainly an option. And I mean physical gold. I don't mean paper gold. Paper gold is the same as the stock market. It can go off the boards. You want the readies, you want the coins, the 1 ounce coins and bars. That's what you want. Well, here's some options. If can either give it to a friend or a family member who you trust to take care of for you. You can store it outside the country. There are places outside the country that you can store it. But yes, that is an issue with where to put it. I would not put it in a safety deposit box at a bank. I would certainly not do that. Yeah, under the mattress. Whatever. Yes.
It's better safe in your own home.
Absolutely, why not?
Under a mattress.
But we don't want to know where it is, okay? We don't know. We're not interested. We don't want to know where it is, but yeah, because gold is the ultimate insurance. And right now, gold is relatively cheap. There's no question about that. Of all the things, if you were wanting to make some money, although I wouldn't buy gold with the view of I'm going to make money on it necessarily, but I think that right now, especially the Kiwi dollar is very high, so gold is actually quite a bargain.
Where do you buy it from, please?
Okay, I can give you that information. There are a few bullion dealers.
I remember a general practitioner who got all his patients, they paid his bills in cash. And he had a collection, because I flew him to Auckland and his pockets were bulging. I said, what the hell are you going to do with that? He said, oh, I'm going to plant it in the garden. So he eventually planted in the garden. He died and no one knew where he had planted it. So whoever bought the property was going to dig up the garden to find out.
Wow, amazing. So yeah, if there is global collapse, if system collapses, if governments decide, because we're in a world situation now, we're all connected, and if governments decide that they need to make new regulations and new laws, then they may well close everything down for a short while, what's known as a bank holiday, as they call it, and you'd be well off having some gold and silver, also some silver. Silver's very inexpensive. It's heavy. That's the trouble with silver. It's heavy and it's bulky, so it's more difficult to store. Gold is much easier because it's light, and unless you've got millions, it's not so difficult. So those really are your major options. Yes, okay, I'm nearly done, but we can go to questions. It's obviously question time.
You didn't tell us where to buy it.
Oh, you want to know where to buy the gold? Okay. There is a company called New Zealand Mint in Auckland, who I have dealt with many times and I find them to have high integrity. Yeah, New Zealand Mint in Auckland. But there are also a couple of bullion dealers here in Christchurch, so even if you were to buy it in Auckland, then you would always be able to cash it in here if you wanted to sell it. So, not too difficult. Okay, open to questions.
What price for one small bar of gold?
For a 1 ounce coin at the moment, if you ask me today's price, because it changes every day, I would say, well, today gold was at $944 US an ounce. So whatever the US dollar is at 1.6. It's about, including their commission, probably around $1,300, $1,400, somewhere there, per ounce. New Zealand dollars, approximately. And it's been a whole lot more than that, so right now it's real cheap. It's been up to $1,800. So it's really, it's very cheap. So,